wasn't even, I'm going to do it for a second. We did a couple of talks. Taylor and I both had talks. We talked together, and then Taylor did a talk at Cloud Native Rejects, which was a few days ago, which is fun. I did a talk yesterday at WasmDay, which was a lot of fun. I am not gonna spoil anything about it. All of the recordings are gonna be out here in a few days, so you'll be able to see it. But I had a lot of fun putting it together. And then Bailey had one of the basically keynote talks in the beginning. So that was this Friday is going to be on like event sourcing in wasmCloud. So all the stuff that he demoed about concordance and all those things, like he's going to be doing that live on stage, which is that's going to be pretty fun. I'm excited to see how that one turns out. Also, hello everyone who may be tuning in on the streaming platforms. We're just doing a quick community meeting today, live at KubeCon. So just want to be able to check in and keep the streak going. Having a lot of fun conversations over here. So if you're in Amsterdam, actually doing KubeCon, feel free to come by either the wasmCloud project booth in the CNCF pavilion, or some of us are going to be hanging out at the Cosmonic booth at SU 36 or whatever in the booth area. So I guess of course I didn't plan anything for this meeting because I knew it'd be pretty relaxed. Does anybody have anything they wanted to chat about here while we're hanging out?
You should make it an inside scoop for people who can't attend on some of the fun stuff you've heard.
Oh yeah. Well, we got a lot of Kubernetes stuff, which I didn't go to any of the talks today. I've mostly been at the booth. But at WasmDay, we got to see a pretty exciting demo coming out of Fastly and VMware. I think my brain is kind of turned to mush at this point, but it showed a JavaScript WebAssembly component and a Rust WebAssembly component interacting with each other, which is pretty awesome to see. Had a really cool talk on interpreted languages. So one of the guys, or two guys, were talking about getting Python and PHP and Ruby to really work efficiently with interpreted languages, which was pretty exciting because, for lack of a better way of saying it, I haven't really played much in the interpreted language space. So that was pretty cool. Let's see, Kelsey Hightower did the keynote, or the first keynote for WasmDay yesterday, which there were certainly people walking around trying to see what he was talking about with WebAssembly, but he had some fun. He had some fun insights. He opened the talk with one of my favorite lines to open a talk ever, which is, "I don't really know that much about Wasm, but," and then kind of went into the rest of his spiel. But he is some really good. I think he has a really good grasp of what's going on in the Wasm industry right now. I did take kind of live commentary while all of the talks were happening during WasmDay yesterday. And so if you guys wanted to, let me see if I can navigate there. If you all wanted to see actually what that looks like, I put that, it's on the Cosmonic blog because that's what we posted there from, but I actually took notes from every single talk. So if you wanted just like a quick TLDR of what the day looked like, that's a great like little TLDR. I know little to nothing about Wasm is the real quote, but that's the insider scoop. I'll have to only other thing that I think was really exciting to mention is I've been to a few KubeCons now, talking as Cosmonic / wasmCloud, and over time the ratio of people when I ask, "Have you heard of WebAssembly before?" just goes up and up and up. Almost everyone that I talked to today has heard of WebAssembly, even if they haven't been using it. And that's, maybe 10% of the people when I talked to them at KubeCon in Valencia knew what WebAssembly was. So it's really exciting. Actually, somebody said back to me, "Who hasn't?" And that's a cool response. It's really starting to hit that buzz. And I think with the component model wrapping up and reaching WASI later this fall, that's going to be a really exciting inflection point for WebAssembly. So just always cool to meet other people in person who are excited about the same stuff and all of those things. I don't know if it's coming across on the audio, but I'm almost talked out for the day. It is. Do I sound rasped? Yeah.
No, man, you're fine.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Justin. It's been a lot of.
Yeah, you sound good. Or just switch over to the Chat GPT plugin.
There is a booth here. There is a booth here that the tagline says Chat GPT for developers. And so I was like, wow, that's already hitting companies and stuff. I didn't go over. Maybe I should go over. I should see what they're about before I make judgments. But anyways, guys, well, I think that's probably what I've got the bandwidth for. We're kind of doing the booth crawl right now. So I'll get back to chatting with folks, and we'll come back in full force next week with some of the insights and fun stuff coming out of. Oh, I can't believe I almost didn't leave it with this. If there's anything that I have to mention from the wasmCloud side, it's that we actually wrapped up a big effort, and huge credit to Taylor, who's been pushing a lot of this forward and implementing the core logic here on Wadum. So just the other day, we cut the 040 alpha 1 tag. This marks the kind of redesign and rewriting Wadum in Rust and kind of reaching feature parity with the previous version, alongside with a lot of new features like persisting thing in Jetstream. And we're going to be bundling this into Wash here soon enough. So I guess I can go ahead. I already have this all set up. I might as well show you the demo that I'm doing at the booth. But what we have here is Echo is just my thing on its own, but I have the animal image downloader sample. This is one actor and then 3 capability providers and the links. And this is actually all being supervised by Wadum. So it's instructed to keep at least 1 instance on this host. If I drop the number of instances down to 0, you can see that hopefully I'm running Wadum still. Maybe I'm not. Oops. I'm not. Oh no, there we go. Cool. So I can do the same thing with the capability providers. If I delete the provider, Wadum will say, oh, there's less than required. So I'll start that one again. Same thing all the way across the system. If I delete a link def, it's actually really hard to see, but you can see it flash for a second. But Wadum is actually watching all these resources and making sure that they're still running. So it's a pretty exciting thing to put out. We've got some basic documentation in there now, but we're looking to add more to the wasmCloud side as soon as we can get over kind of the conference craziness. So yeah, I'm glad that I caught that right at the end. It's pretty exciting. And we'll be able to give a more in-depth Wadum demo. We'll probably do it next week. It's a pretty exciting. We'll do it end to end with launching everything with Wash and all of that.
That's a good summary. Thanks for sharing, Brooks.
Thanks, Justin. Oh, okay. Now, and Vance, to answer your question, what was it written in before? It was actually written in Elixir. We were using some Elixir libraries to monitor the state of the lattice. And there is actually an RFC that I'll pull up really quick for why we decided to rewrite it in Rust. And it's multi-pronged. There were a couple of different reasons, not to mention the fact that we needed to tidy it up and productionize it. But we wanted to make sure that we could bundle it in with our Wash CLI. We wanted to make it something that is safe and secure, has the primitives of Rust, and has something that people can contribute to. As Justin said, to be completely honest, in our ecosystem, there's a lot of Rust, especially like in the WebAssembly space, and the overlap between Elixir and WebAssembly is kind of small. And we want to have something that feels really good, especially something like a deployment manager. We want people who have experience creating deployment managers, reconciliation loops, and those kinds of algorithms contributing. So, but that issue, WADM issue 40, has a lot more information. We love that out. All right, everybody. Well, I think this is probably gonna call the end of the meeting, but we'll see you next week. That really, and for anybody who's watching live, I definitely started this like 40 minutes late, so really big props to you all for hanging out for a little bit. All right, thanks everyone.